Hi, Jake. Hi, Luke. This is Bapu. Jake, I was happy to hear you're reading my war stories. I mean, you're expressing them. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
And he's got a book right there. Oh, you talking about that book right there? That's the one he's reading?
Right.
Oh, Jake, you recognize it.
I have it here, and you must have memorized it. Anyway, I want you to tell me the answer to a question. What is war?
What is war? That's a very good question. That's a good question for you, Jake. This is Uncle Bobby, of course. I'm here. But in that book there you have right there, the book, what do you think is the most interesting story for you that you want Jake to look at?
I'd say the tunnel story is pretty interesting.
The tunnel story. Can you believe that story, Jake? The Papu here was in a tunnel and he got caught and then he did it again. And what, you did it twice?
I did.
Weren't you worried that possibly you'd get in trouble again?
No more worried. That was just being there.
And then what happened? What did they do to you when they caught you?
Put me in a town prison.
In a town prison. For how long?
I think it was 3 weeks.
Were you, was it cold? Did they feed you?
No.
They didn't feed you much?
It was a city prison.
Uh-huh.
Which they could maintain for the locals.
Were you by yourself?
No, I had company,
fortunately.
Uh-huh.
And there's a story in the book that talks about when you guys, when the bird hit the window.
Yes, the bird story.
Yeah, tell Jake a little bit about that, what that was like back then.
Well, Jake knows the story.
Well, just tell him, so you were there in this room, and the bird hits in the middle of the night, the bird hits the window.
We heard these knocks against the walls of the barracks, and it caused us to get up and take a look. And we saw that it was birds hitting the side of the barracks. And the fog was encompassing the area that night. So we took a look at it, and they were all over the place. And we got up early in the morning and grabbed them all.
How many birds?
And ate them.
How many birds?
About 10 birds and 2 ducks.
10 birds and 2 ducks. They must have just followed one of the birds or the ducks right into the window or the wall.
I don't know what they did.
And how many people were eating these 10 birds and these 2 ducks?
All 12 of us.
12. Oh, that's a nice feast.
How big were the birds?
Small.
And then my last question for Jake, and Jake, we may revisit this again sometime. If you have any questions for Papu, Jake, you can let your daddy know, and we'll ask Daddy Papu again. If you have any questions about this war story book, Jake, which is a fascinating book, I know. But my last question for Papu is, Jake, so tell Jake what it was like to be up there flying a plane with all the bombers around you. You're up there, it was cold, and what was that like? You remember that?
Yes, I do remember that. I remember the day I was shot down. I was one of many that were shot down. And I watched them get hit and bail out and fly past me like birds.
Other people got shot down.
Other people got shot down along with me. They would jump out of the plane and fly past the window.
In their parachutes?
They had their parachutes on. They weren't in them at the time.
Oh.
I mean, they weren't using them.
Jeez.
But it was chaos.
Wow.
What about that story that wasn't in the book?
The All Alone story?
Yeah, the story that you didn't put in the book.
That was when I looked around after this scene I just described. And about 5 minutes later, there was another plane in the sky besides our own. The formation had flown so far ahead of us that it was out of sight. And so we were alone in the skies over Germany with 5 or so fighters surrounding us, circling us, and shooting at appropriate intervals. That's that, Jake, and I thank you for being interested.
Well, very good, Papu. Thanks for sharing that story with Jake and Luke and Maria and Rabbit. We'll say hi and hope you guys have a nice time back there in the summertime.